This project is entitled Righting of Wrongs, a Holocaust Memorial. This design was a finalist in the Atlantic City Boardwalk Holocaust Memorial Competition in 2010. When I was doing research for this project, I ran across a passage in a book that told of a Jewish poet. When being dragged away by the Nazis, he exclaimed, "Right, Jews, right." And at the time of the competition, I was hearing news reports about countries in the Middle East where they were denying that the Holocaust ever existed, that they were refusing to teach its historic factuality in schools. And it occurred to me that the Holocaust was undeniable because the Jews did listen to the poet, because they did write. And they took up their pen and wrote accounts, and these documents, these sacred pages, have been proliferated, which ensures their longevity, that no one could trace them down and can find them, but they will be told into perpetuity. So this memorial is about honoring those accounts, those sacred pages, their proliferation. But there's more to it than that. In between the pages, there are figures that are visible in the voids. And these forms are there to honor those who are missing. You can see in this diagram where the figures are visible from and where they exist in between the stacks of pages. But these forms there, these voids, are there to represent the descendants of those who should be walking around the memorial and those whose names we'll never know, who were wrongfully taken from the world. There are a few examples of the figures that are visible here. There's a boy on the left, a man with a cane in the middle, and then another young boy walking on the right. There's a great TED Talk by Richard Seymour where he talks about the nature of beauty that goes beyond an aesthetic to take on a physical reaction. It's something you feel in your gut. And that's brought about by knowing more about what you're looking at. Knowing the backstory, if you will. And that's what drew me to this concept as I kept working on it and developing it, was that you could walk by the boardwalk and find beauty in the sculptural nature of these pages that appear to be blowing in the wind, and even begin to understand, some of what that's about, but to find more, to be able to walk by several times, and then be walking by one day and catch a glimpse of a figure, a silhouette that might remind you of your husband, your father, son, or daughter, and begin to grasp the humanity of the Holocaust. These figures that are visible within the memorial are full-scale figures, so it starts to relay the humanness of these events. That day, that time long ago, these events that happened long ago in a situation that we have a hard time imagining today. But in the memorial, you began to relate to its humanity and feel its reality. You can see here that this is a sculpture made of the concept, which was 3 stacks of sculptural pages. And there's a boy and a girl visible as you move around that model. There's a boy on the left and a young girl walking on the right. And this last series of images shows what it might look like, this experience might feel like as you would walk by the memorial.